On today's episode, I'm currently rebuilding my test quad. It served me well for many years and survived many incidents. Being made of carbon fibre, it's proved incredibly strong. One of the issues I do have with the design is I prefer to have the battery at the bottom. It makes it much more stable in my opinion. But previously I've only had these short legs, standoffs, which obviously haven't been long enough to protect the battery in the inevitable hard landings. I have tried with a piece of old beer can just to protect it there, but it's time to provide a more permanent solution. Going back onto Thingiverse, I've found these legs which are designed for this frame, which is the ZMR250, a classic design, and we can see that they're almost double the length and should provide the necessary clearance. For these to survive my kind of landings, I've decided to make them out of nylon, which I've never 3D printed before, and it's thrown up a few issues. So I'm making this video to explain how I got around the problems. My first two attempts were complete disasters. We can see clearly here the warping that's occurred because the print hasn't adhered to the bed. So that one is a complete waste of time. I then tried putting PVA glue on the print bed, which improved things to some extent, but still not a very good or useful result. Finally, in my slicer software, I put a little brim around the perimeter, and that has solved the problem, in addition to using some glue. So in the slicer software, it's just a 3mm brim, and now I have all the parts that I need. I'm really impressed with the strength of this nylon. That is really tough. I've printed before in PLA and ABS, but it's produced nothing like the strength of this. This is really impressive. Let's take a quick look at the slicer settings that I've been using. You can see the part on the bed there. If we look into the print settings, layer height of 0.2, the first layer height a little thicker, infill only set to 10%, and here is where we set up the skirt and the brim. The skirt is just a preliminary single loop around, just to make sure that the plastic, the nylon in this case, is extruding correctly, and then we have an exterior brim of 3mm. I didn't find the need to put in any interior brim. Finally, looking at the filament settings, the first layer, and in fact all of the layers, set to nozzle temperature of 245. I did try going to 250, but then I could hear a crackling noise from the printer hot end, which indicates that it's too hot. It's in fact probably boiling or creating bubbles in the hot end, which is not good. So 245, and the bed, I've set the heated bed to the maximum for my printer, which is 100 degrees. That's considerably hotter than what I would normally use when I'm printing PLA, for example. It's only usually around 45. So let's see how the prints turned out. So here we can see the print with the raft, and it's perfectly flat with the glass surface. I've actually removed the fan. As I said, cooling is not a good idea when you're trying to print with nylon. Now with the print complete, just taking a closer view, you can clearly see that there's absolutely no warping. I can't even get the knife blade under. I'm just about to get it under there. So let's get the print off. The bed is still hot. So there we can clearly see that the brim has worked and done its job in keeping it from warping. There's a little bit of stringing and tidying up to do there, but nothing too drastic. This is the Yoo-hoo magic stick glue that I used, and it's just a simple craft glue, and it seems to work as well, if not better, than PVA, and a lot less messy.